Okay, hello, welcome. Next Argo on Air is on air now. Number 4. And we did a solid 4 Sundays in a row, so I'm really happy about that. We've got one more Sunday in May, right? The 31st. So we're going to try to go 5 for 5 next Sunday and keep going through the summer, June, July. I might go home to America in August, but we'll know more about that in a little while. Keep supporting Hiko Simon by going on an hour before his show, Tokyo Tonight, which starts at 11, and hopefully entertaining you that watch this video. A few of you come and join live, and I appreciate that. You can leave comments. That's the advantage of coming live, and I see them and I respond to them, and I talk about your topics. People are nice enough to send in questions to my Facebook page or even my Gmail, Myargonauts@gmail. The Facebook page is also /Myargonauts. And so I have things to talk about for 45 or 50 minutes here on a Sunday night, where we've just had a great day of sumo, and I'm certainly going to talk about that. Okay, let me switch over. Whistle or something. Can you whistle? A lot of Asian people can't whistle. It's a genetic thing. It's like being able to make that U shape with your tongue. Some people can do it, some people can't. Some people can whistle. Some people can't. I had a Korean American girlfriend for a long time, and she couldn't whistle. And she hated it when I made fun of her for not being able to whistle. So I try not to do that. But okay. So let me go over to my Sumo channel, Jason's All Sumo channel, and pull up my Myargonauts so I can see the comments. I need to learn from Hiko Simon how to have the comments be on screen and kind of see them simultaneously. I can already see that I messed up naming the show. Instead of Argo on Air, it's Argo on AI. Yes, we are artificially intelligence funded and fueled here on this show. There's nothing real in here. I wish I had a brain. Let me go over to my Sumo channel. So there you can see how much the delay is. Okay, we'll mute that. Hopefully the comments will come up. Hello, comments. Oh no, where are the comments? I'm not seeing any comments. This is bad. Okay, well, let's leave there and try again. It says 3 people are watching, so hello, 3 people. I'm going to be really bummed if I can't see comments. All right, let's try this again. Here we go. Click. There we go, loading. Okay. Oh, it says loading like it's going to fill in the comments, and then there's no comments. Ho, ho, ho. Okay. So, what else can I try, guys? Let me try one more time. Sorry, I know this is, is about as interesting as watching a sponge dry, but it's kind of important that I be able to see the comments. All right, YouTube. Jason's in Japan channel, where all my sumo videos are. I did put up the sumo videos. I got a request by a viewer. Hey, man, make sure you put up the videos before you do your live show so we can, watch the sumo before you talk about it. And so I said, no problem, man. All right. And it says Argo on Air, live now, 5 people watching. Hello, 5 people. And I click, it says loading, and I'm still not, oh, damn it, I'm not getting comments. Comments currently unavailable, it's telling me at the bottom. Oh man, this is gonna suck. All right, well, it's not gonna suck, but I'm wondering if that's just like me or if that's all of YouTube. Hiko's gonna be really bummed. Okay, well, I'm gonna go back again then in, I don't know. I'll go back in like 10 minutes and see if I can pick up comments. So I guess in the meantime, why don't I answer some of the viewer mail I sound like David Letterman. David Letterman. We should talk about David Letterman. Some of you aren't in America. I don't know about Europeans. I don't know if you really know who David Letterman is. I'm sure you know who he is. He's got to be fairly ubiquitously famous. But I don't know if you have any reason to care that he's finishing his show this past week, or he finished his show. It was a big deal in America, I'm sure. I'm not there right now. I obviously couldn't watch it live. But I've been watching. They've been pretty good about like cutting down the clips and putting them onto the official David Letterman YouTube channel. And I've been watching a lot of them. A lot of sad stuff. People that are no longer with us, that were big people on the show. Just the fact that he's leaving. I mean, I was never a huge fan. I have to say, I wasn't like I like Jay Leno better or whatever. But I was never a huge fan of Dave. But I guess I went to watch Dave more for the guest, especially the musical guest, than I did to watch Dave. Some of his antics are, obviously classic. The top 10 list is amazing, and some of the stupid human tricks and stupid pet tricks and all that stuff. But yeah, I see. I'm old enough. I'm 45. I'm old enough to remember Johnny Carson. And I used to love Carson, and maybe that's because my parents loved him so much, and it was just a treat if they allowed me to stay up and watch Johnny with them. And then he went off the air, and Jay was okay. And then I kind of got into more like the later night guys. I got into I like Conan, and oh my God, I'm totally like my mind is blanking. The Scottish guy that was on late at night. I can't remember his name. Really cool guy. He was on for like 5 or 7 seasons. And now my favorite guy is John Oliver, without a doubt. I mean, it's obviously not the same type of show, but if you're not watching John Oliver on YouTube, you really should. Okay, let me go over to YouTube here, my YouTube page. And I got an email from somebody, and I wanted to... So we're going to talk about Sumo for about 5 minutes. If Sumo doesn't interest you, how about this? If you're going to fast forward, I'm holding up my royal milk tea here with Nodome Kantobiru, some kind of manga anime characters on my tea. When I hold this up again in about 5 minutes, I'm finished talking about Sumo. So you can hit the fast forward button and just watch. And then when this comes up again, I'm done talking about Sumo. You can start watching again. If you're into Sumo, though, this is from Marton. Marton says he's a Hungarian Sumo fan, and I love your channel. So he's talking about my Sumo channel. So he's asking me about Sumo questions, and he is, and I thought I would just save them and just answer them here, because sometimes you guys ask me questions and I want to give you a good, thorough answer, but to be honest, to type all that out into the little box on Facebook, it feels like I'm writing an essay or a really long email to a dear friend or something. And some of the times I've already made a video about that topic, so I'm just reiterating something you could find if you look through my channel. And I don't mind doing it. I mean, I realize some of it, it's the internet's about immediate gratification. If you want information, you want it right away. So I do my best, but it's easier just to talk about some things. So he's talking about a time where he didn't watch Sumo so much, from about 2006 to last year, which is when I really have been watching Sumo. And he said, he mentions the famous book Freakonomics, which did a statistical analysis of Sumo match fixing, called Yaocho in Japanese. And in that book, if you haven't heard about it or seen the movie, there's a documentary, which I highly recommend. It's a variety of subjects. Sumo is only about 10 minutes of the movie. They just showed that statistically, all the time where these guys would be 7-7. Okay, there's 15 days in a sumo tournament, and you need to get 8 wins or more to maintain your status, your rank, or to move up. And so you want to get 9 or 10 wins, of course, but you have to get at least 8. And there'd be guys who, after 14 days, would have split their 7 wins and 7 losses. So on the 15th day, the last day, they need to get a win. or they'll find themselves demoted down the list of wrestlers. And for some, that means changing divisions. If you're, say, number 14 in the Makuuchi division, the top division, and there's only 16 slots, and you get a bad record, you get a losing record, you're going to be demoted out of the Makuuchi down into the Juryo division, the next division. And that's not so bad because both are salaried. But if you're in the Juryo division and you get demoted down into the Makushita division, then you lose status, you lose your helpers, your skibito, you lose your salary, and many other things. So what they found, especially when that was happening, invariably the guys who were 7-7 would get a win on the final day to maintain their record, especially if the wrestler they were fighting either already had his winning record or already had a losing record. So it wouldn't matter if they got a win. Now, of course, if someone 7-7 is going up against somebody else 7-7, then all bets are off. But what they surmised was that payments had to be going back and forth. Look, you've already got 9 wins. I really need an 8th win to stay in the Juryo division. Let me pay you, $10,000. And so this was rumored to be about for a long time in sumo. And what finally cracked it open, and they actually had proof, was some of the guys were kind of idiots about it and were texting stuff about it on their cell phones. So they seized all the cell phone records, and it was like in black and white. You can't deny it. It's right here. You're talking about bribes and passing money and stuff like that. And it wasn't so much the guys that were in the high ranks. It wasn't, the guys, if you've ever heard of sumo, that you would have heard of, like Asashoru and Hakuho and Haramafuji and Koto Oshu and Baruto and those guys. Those guys don't need help to win matches, and they're very rarely in 7-7 situations. It's mostly was wrestlers that have been around for a while or whatever, and they're known within sumo, but they're not stars, let's put it that way, of the sport at all. The middle linebackers and the defensive ends and stuff, if you want to make an American football analogy. And so it came out that this was true. And it happened right at the time in 2011 when the tsunami hit. And they were going to cancel the the Osaka Basho in March in 2011 anyway. And then literally like days before it would have started, the tsunami hit, and it would have been canceled anyway. I don't know if that makes sense. But people seem to have gotten over it. It's been 4 years, and the public's memory is a little fickle, and it really never touched on any of the big guys, and I don't think it really does happen amongst the higher ranked wrestlers. And so, yeah, people don't seem to mind, and sumo's as popular as ever. I tried to get a good seat for my day. I'm going to the Nagoya Basho in July in Nagoya, and I wanted to go because of the holidays and the way I can get time off work. I wanted to go on the middle Sunday, day 8. And I had a kind of a ticket broker firm help me get my ticket, because they would like go on the opening day and, work the system and try to get me the best seat. And they really couldn't even get me that close to the ring for what I wanted to pay, And so they said it sold out so quickly, quicker than they've ever seen Nagoya sell out. It's like a Tokyo tournament with how fast it sold out. And the only tickets left after the first day were like weekdays and like high up in the loge. So anyway, so that was one of his questions. I don't think match fixing still goes on, Martin, at least not in the higher ranks. Do you think Asashoru would have been able to compete until 2013 or whatever if they hadn't asked him to kind of like leave, or he hadn't made the decision to leave in 2011? I don't know how long he would have kept going. He certainly had more competition than Hakuho's had since he left. Hakuho in the past 4 years has done some amazing statistical things, and as good as Haramafuji is, and as much as I love Haramafuji, he's my favorite wrestler, he hasn't been the foil, the rival for Hakuho like Hakuho was for Asashoru after Hakuho became Yokozuna. I certainly think Asashoru would have won a few more competitions and gotten close to 30. I think when he finished, he was at 24, 25, and now Hakuho is at 34 Emperor's Cups. So yeah, it's hard to compare them. I think their styles are different, their personalities are very different. I've always found Asashoru much more entertaining, but maybe that's because I'm a Gaikokujin and I'm not as wrapped up in the respectability of it. I want to be entertained, and Hakuho unfortunately is so dominant and so good that he becomes boring by his consistency. You know, he always wins, and so today, spoiler alert, close your ears if you don't want to know. You know, when he didn't win the tournament, Teruno Fuji, a brand new person who's never won a Yusho before, won today. Some people are like, you know, just so happy, not necessarily because Hakuho lost, they love Hakuho, but just because somebody knew. You know, the last 6 tournaments in a row, a whole year of tournaments, were won by Hakuho. So it's like, you know, it's like if the Yankees won the World Series every year, you know, for 6 years in a row. Anyway, and who do you pick as the next Yokozuna? I think that's obviously going to be Teruno Fuji. I think he'll be in Ozeki for about a year, and he'll move right up to Yokozuna. I don't think Ichinojo will get there very quickly. He's got to add some skills to his bulk. Endo, certainly not. Kiseno Sato, no. I hope Kiseno Sato, just for himself and his career and his longevity, eventually wins a Yusho, but Kiseno Sato will never be Yokozuna. I would bet $100 on that right now. Okay, I think that's enough talking about sumo, so I'm going to hold up this. Okay, stop. We're going to stop talking about sumo. Okay, now I'm going to try to go back. That was one of the questions. Thank you for sending that in, Marton. I hope I answered it to your satisfaction. I'm going to go now and try to see comments yet again, and just see if they are working, quote unquote. Boy, oh boy. All right. When I open, you know, like all the recent things I've been watching a lot of Japan with Regan, R-E-G-A-N. He's an Australian guy that made videos. He lived in Nagoya, but now he's gone now, so I won't get to meet him. But his videos have been really fun. I kind of watch YouTube in chunks, you know, like I get caught up on something. I've just been watching tons of Letterman clips the past like week. All right. Myargonauts, that's me. Live now. Yes, I am. Okay. Argo on AI. 22 people are watching. Well, hello, 22 people. I'm so glad that you're watching. I want to see your comments. Yay, they're back. Okay. All right. So now I can get caught up. Let me take a minute and talk about all the people, the wonderful people that are in the audience. Japarican? Japarican? You know, it's funny when you have a screen name, you know, how do you say it? You know, like I know some people look at mine and go, Myargo, you know, I mean, they just like have no, and I'm like, it's Myargonauts, you know. So, okay, Ashley says my brother can't whistle, but you can. Okay, Ashley, that's interesting. Ingalense says, hello, Jason, how are you? I am very fine, thank you. Just done watching the sumo video, spit my coffee out at that outcome, yes. So I can say now, I guess, that I have the interview with Teruno Fuji, his interview with the NHK guy, and I will put that up probably tomorrow, just to have no spoilers for about a day. All right. Paul Starkey says, Twitter? Paul Starkey, what about Twitter? Yes, I have Twitter. I don't tweet out the link to this live show. I probably should. I'm just not that with it yet. Maybe next week I will try starting to do that. Although what am I trying to say? Not honestly or obviously. Often, there's the English. I often do put a message on Facebook that says I'm about to start the live show, and that gets auto-tweeted to my second Twitter account, which is Japan Jet. But my normal Twitter account, Taisha Jason, at Taisha Jason, doesn't get a tweet. So I don't know, Paul, if you have more of a question, let me know. I like your last name, Starkey. Of course, Richard Starkey. I don't know if you're related. If you are, that's Ringo Starr. All right, Sponges. Hiko's in the house. Hello, Hiko. Ninjaru. Hey, Jason. Salutations from Christopher. Christopher, is that your real first name? Christopher? But spelled like that? That's awesome if it is. Robert from Canada. Oh, okay. I got comments here. Yeah, I know you guys got comments, but I didn't have comments. Conan the Barbarian? No, Conan O'Brien. All right. Ilya? I think that's what's uppercase I, Ilya? Ilya says yay to the manga people that are on my beverage. Hiko Simon says, yeah. Hiko's talking about the match fixing. Yeah, Busan Kevin, I think he's having some surgery either soon or he just had it. So I hope it goes well or he's recovering well. My thoughts go out to him. He had a hernia. I can imagine. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I don't think Asashoro, Hakuho. I don't think those guys need to pay this money. Maybe on their way up, somebody did it for them, or they got involved. But I really doubt in the Makuuchi division a lot of that goes on. Because even if you go out of the Makuuchi, you're just down to Juryo. You're still getting the salary. You still got the prestige, and you can go back up. It's really the lower rank guys that are going out of Juryo, out of being a Sekitori, a paid wrestler, where I could see it happening. But I hopefully they're policing themselves and it's not happening. All right, Andy-san. Hey, Jason. Andy-san, I believe, is a fellow San Diegan. So I don't know if the san in his name is an honorific that he's picked up because he's in Japan, or if that means Andy San Diego and he just didn't add the Diego. All right, let me see what else I got. Oh my gosh, there's so many. I'm sorry, I'm so behind. Yaparikan. Oh, okay. So it's not J like Japan. It's more of a Spanish pronunciation. Yaparikan. Okay. Paul is from Australia. Hello. What's this? What's my? There's the one Monty Python part where they're talking about. They do the Aussie salute. Oh, I can't. I'm not going to butcher it and do it wrongly. Okay, how's it going from Gel Zorro? That's a cool name. I like that. I'm good. Hello from the Caribbean. Awesome. I just love the internet. What other YouTubers I've been watching lately? God, Hiko put up a video about it was a serious subject, like visa being denied to immigrants or something. Not immigrants, but refugees. And it was like I tried to start watching it, and it was just so serious, and I was like, I need to really pay attention. So I didn't watch it at the time, and I haven't gone back and rewatched it. Sometimes that happens, like with a movie or something. I don't know who else I've been watching. I watched the Fine Brothers. I don't know if you guys like them. They do all the react shows. The teens react. The elders react. The elders just reacted to I Love Lucy, which was a fun show to watch because I used to watch I Love Lucy. This would have been in the 70s, way after the shows were over, and I found them hysterical. My favorite show from early in that era, before not most of you, but at least some of you were born, would be a show called MASH with Alan Alda, and it was based in the Korean War, even though it was produced in the time of Vietnam. And Robert Altman made the movie based on a very good novel, and then years later they made a TV show of it, and it was one of those rare TV shows where it was incredibly funny. It was a comedy, it wasn't a sitcom because it wasn't filmed before a live studio audience and like that, but then it could be deadly serious, and it could pull off those swings in tone very well. Not many shows have ever been able to do that on television, I think, and this was one of those shows that could. It was meant to make you laugh and be funny most of the time, but some of it was deadly serious, and the surgery parts and the way the war affected the soldiers and the people and the doctors and the nurses. And it was just so well acted and so well written. And I used to love that show. When they did those like old, back in the day, you could sign up like a Columbia House and get like CDs and stuff, or cassettes back then, sent you in the mail. I used to collect VHS tapes, and there'd be 3 MASH episodes on each tape, which was only like, I don't know, maybe 4. I was going to say 3 episodes is only like, 70 minutes, 75 minutes. But it used to be like 3 or 4 episodes on a tape, and I just had all these massive tapes because it went on for many years. It was the highest watch finale of all time until some show came along and beat it. I can't remember if it was Seinfeld or something. This was back in the day when there literally were only like 3 channels. I think it went off the air in '82, and I don't even think Fox was a network then, and we're talking about in America. So anyway, okay, I've rambled enough about that. Kanto Kitsune, first time making home in time to watch. Great. I'm assuming you're in Japan, but if you're not, let me know. Cheers from a new Gaikokujin in Niigata. Thanks for your awesome sumo coverage. You are welcome. Thank you for watching. It was a great tournament this time. You're in Panama. See, I love the internet. Shubas, you're in Panama. Hello. And we've got people speaking Spanish, which I can, Skoshi Spango. I lived in California and Texas my entire life in the United States, so I should be able to speak a little Spanish. Hello, everyone, from Al Camedo. Okay, I'm getting caught up, I think. Oh my gosh. Hi, the pungency? Is that what you're drinking? No, I'm drinking royal milk tea from, I don't know who makes this. Somebody, Coca-Cola company bottles it. I am from San Diego. Well, I'm not from San Diego, but San Diego is what I tell people my hometown is, because Japanese people are obsessed with asking you where you're from. And so you have to have a hometown. It's just too difficult to explain anything else. And I didn't actually move to San Diego until I was a junior in high school. And but then I lived there for the next about 10 years before I moved to the Bay Area with my girlfriend, or my girlfriend was in the Bay Area and I moved up there to be with her. And I lived in, the San Francisco, Oakland area for about the next 5 years. Then in LA, and then back down to San Diego to finish my degree at the University of San Diego. And then I moved to Japan. So even though I was born near Los Angeles and lived most of my youth from age 7 to age 16 in Texas, I consider San Diego my hometown. And that's where my parents, after they went back to England, they're English, when they retired, didn't like it so much, missed their grandkids, etc., and they wanted to move back to San Diego. They really like the weather in San Diego. And my sister lives there. So, I just consider that my hometown. That's where I go back to, for instance, when I go home in the summers. So, yeah, San Diego. Go San Diego. We're having a big crisis in San Diego with our football team. The Padres. Padres are our baseball team. The San Diego Chargers want a new stadium, and San Diegans are very fickle about sports. We don't have a pro basketball team, for instance, etc. But some of the taxpayers down there, they don't want to pay for it. And it's obviously going to cost like $1 billion or something. And the one they play in now is pretty old. And so they're thinking of combining 2 teams. There's no professional American football team in the entire city of Los Angeles, believe it or not, right now. So they're thinking of building a stadium kind of in Anaheim, which is where Disneyland is, which is about an hour north of San Diego and about an hour south of certain parts of Los Angeles, especially with traffic. And so it's kind of in the middle, and they would share it. A team would move to LA, probably the Oakland Raiders, who've been in LA before, and have a huge fan base there, and the San Diego Chargers. So San Diegans would have to travel north every time to see a home game. So that's a big to-do right now and hasn't been settled. Oh, the Australian accent thing is about the, he's like, hello, Bruce, hello, Bruce. All right, let's do the Australian anthem. It's like, this here's the wattle. It's the emblem of my land. And then he says something about like wattle and bottle, and he goes, one of them tells the famous joke in the sketch, which is, hey, Bruce, you know why having sex is, no, you know why American beer is like having sex in a canoe? No, Bruce, why? Because it's like fucking close to water, and it's just like, anyway, everything in my life is from Monty Python. Yeah, I do miss burritos. All right. Yeah, I think that the Sean Bro, that is correct. The Korean War was over much sooner than MASH. It wasn't gut-wrenching horrendous. I mean, I cried my eyes out at the end of MASH. Just you don't want to see the show end, and then I mean, what happened in the show and saying goodbye. Oh, don't even make me think about it. I'll get teary-eyed. All right, Andy's been in Japan for 2 years. Cool. Yeah, Anaheim. Hello, hello. From Andy-san. Oh, not bad for my Australian. Yeah, I probably couldn't keep it up, though. But if I went to Australia, I would come back and just sound like an Australian for probably a couple weeks. LA does have a good soccer team, actually. The Galaxy are a good team. Yeah, there's always rumblings about San Diego Comic-Con moving to Anaheim. I'm sure you guys know what Comic-Con is. I used to live in San Diego, and I went to Comic-Con back like when Batman came out in 1989. I think that was my first con. I was already an adult. And it was in a different place. It was in like the convention center it was called like the Civic Center. It was almost like a hotel ballroom, 2 very big rooms in this bottom of this larger area. And it was great. I mean, it was all about comics. There was no famous people, no movies. There was Batman stuff, but, Michael Keaton didn't come, Tim Burton didn't come. And for the first few years after that, it was like that. And they moved it to the convention center, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And then comics exploded in the early 90s. If you know anything about comics, with Superman dying, Image Comics came along, Valiant Comics. I used to work in a comic book store, so I'd have to go to Comic-Con and work. And even when I moved away and I was in the Bay Area, of course, I would come down every summer in July and go. And since I moved to Japan, I just can't get I've never been able to sync up working here where, you work in July in school. It's not summer yet, holiday yet, and getting back to America to go to Comic-Con. So I've only been to it like once or maybe twice in the past like 10 years, which is really sad. But I've heard it's totally different now than when I used to go. But I went about 15 years in a row. I didn't miss one. And I love Comic-Con. Even when I went back, when I went home for a year between Jet and where I work now at the university, and I was home in 2010 and went, I actually worked for a friend who had a booth. So I went all 4 days and worked part of the time in his booth. And then he let me go off and wander, and I would come back and he'd go off and have, a meal or go pee or whatever. And it was crazy, but I just loved it. I love Comic-Con. Before Twitter and like things now where you feel like you can access people and you can talk directly to some of your favorite actors or stars or whatever, Comic-Con was this amazing thing where you could literally stand in a line with your favorite book, your favorite comic book, and talk to the person who created it. Tell them how much you liked it. You could tell them like your favorite part. They would sign it for you. Do sketches. I have amazing sketchbooks. It just was this kind of like little insular community and this amazing thing. You could go to panels and chat about comics, and it's just awesome. I used to love it. I don't think it's the same anymore, but yeah. All right. Let's see here. What am I missing? Yeah. Hi, my name's Tony. We're going to call you Bruce. All right. Let's see. Melbourne, Australia. Oh, good. I hope that you just came, Andre. because I was doing a bad Australian accent again. I'm from Dhaka, Dhaka. Excuse my world ignorance, but Abdullah, I do not know where Dhaka is. Can you tell me more? Switzerland, hello. I know where Switzerland is. So it was interesting. Last night on NHK, I got home from the grocery store about 7:30, and I only get like 10 channels out here in rural Japan. I don't pay for cable, and one of the channels is like NHK Premium, and they show a fair amount of American movies. And I sat down and I turned on the TV, and it just happened that Die Hard with a Vengeance, Die Hard 3 was starting, and sometimes they'll show stuff letterboxed, and it'll have the little Japanese subtitles down in the bar. Other times it's like you hit a button on your remote. So this is my remote, and you can slide this panel down. There's a little audio button. This is how I watch Sumo in English. But you can also change, say, they'll show the movie dubbed in Japanese, which is how the majority of Japanese people want to watch it, and or you can watch it in English. So I sat down and started watching it, and about 10 minutes or so in, I'm like, okay, I'm watching this. It's pretty good, They're not going to cut anything in Japan. They don't care about saying fuck or shit or whatever. They don't have any problem with bad words. Every now and then, if there's some nudity, of course, you might get a little pixelization, but obviously not breasts or anything, which is usually the only thing you see in an American movie anyway. They just can't show genitalia. Are breast genitalia? There's the question for the night. Maybe I should put that in the Argo on air number 4. Are breast genitalia? That is a tagline. But yeah, they can't just show the below the waist stuff right here. And there's no commercials. So it's kind of like watching the movie. But then I looked behind me and I realized I had this box set, which is, at the time it came out, it was the 25th anniversary Blu-ray collection, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the original Die Hard, and which was what, 89 to 2014. And so I got this about a year ago, and I'm pretty sure I watched all 4 movies. But Die Hard with a Vengeance, if you haven't seen it in a while, is so good. And I love Jeremy Irons in it. I think he's just the awesome villain that I kind of stopped watching. I stopped watching the TV, and I took out my Blu-ray and I put that in, and I'm like, I'm just going to watch the Blu-ray. Why do I own these things otherwise? So I can pause it if I want or whatever, and it obviously looks a little better than just broadcast television. So this is a pretty nice set. It's a nice little like booklet with each of the discs, and then there's a whole discs of extras. And it doesn't include the 5th one, which was really bad. But I'm kind of curious. I haven't watched Live Free or Die Hard in a while, so I think that's going to be my movie tomorrow night. I watch Die Hard 1 every Christmas. That's my Christmas movie. So I haven't watched Die Hard 2 either yet, but I'm not a huge fan of the 2nd one. But the 3rd one, man, is so good. Gavin chimes in with, legally, breasts are not considered sexual organs. Gavin, do you know this from some kind of litigation that you were involved in? Or are you a litigator? Come on now, fess up. Well, now don't start just typing random Monty Python quotes into the comments. That's going to mess me up. Your mother was a hamster. Your father smelled of elderberries. Yeah. So I can't speak English. I belong to a website, which any of you can do. It's free, of course. It's called Flickchart. Here, I'll type it in. It'll be from Jason and Jason Sumo channel. FLICKCHART. Flickchart.com. So you go to Flickchart, and all you have to do is right away they're going to give you 2 movies, Titanic and Snow White. It's very weird. And you just click, which one do you like better? Not which one's a better movie, which one, it's just your personal preference. Which one did I, Jason Harris, like better? I liked Titanic better. Click. Okay, so now that is in your list. You've seen it, and it assumes you've seen Snow White because there's a button below Snow White that says I haven't seen this movie. So you're supposed to click that if you haven't seen it, so you're not just picking against random. So the next 2 movies come up, Die Hard and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay, damn. Okay, that's a tough choice. Well, I like Raiders of the Lost Ark a little bit better than Die Hard. For me, you know, personal, blah, blah. So I click Raiders. So now Raiders on my list. And you can do this as many, you know, for easy for a half hour, you know. And then you've kind of got a list going. And then you can add in movies. Let's say you just went and saw Tomorrowland or Mad Max or Avengers 2. You can type that in and say, rank this movie, and it'll just throw it up against other movies, and it'll add it to your list. And so I've done this, and now I have about 2,000 movies on my list. And you can guess my name over at Flickchart if you want to look at my list. Of course, it's Myargonauts. And my top 20 is pretty secure. I like it. I like my top 100 actually pretty well. Yeah, so I'm also on the Facebook page for Flickchart, and we have some good movie discussions over there. There's a bunch of movie nerds, and I like to talk about movies with my regular Facebook people that are my friends in America, some friends from here in Japan. Not on my Myargonauts page. I'm talking about my private Facebook. But I get really geeky about movies, and only a few of my friends can really keep up. Other people are just, you know, casual. And so we were talking about, you know, the question of the day yesterday was, which is your favorite, you know, quadrilogy or whatever you want to call it, Die Hard or Indiana Jones. And so we're looking at the 5 Die Hards versus the 4 Indiana Jones movies. And it's hard because if you just do Die Hard, you know, which is the best of obviously the Die Hard movies, and Raiders, which I think is the best of the Indiana Jones movies. Some people don't think so. You know, I pick Raiders, but that's a tough choice for me. And then, but if you look at the whole series, I almost go Die Hard. Well, of course, both last movies sucked. The most recent Die Hard, which I can't remember, somebody put it in the comments if you want. I can't remember what the subtitle was. Live Free or Die Hard was number 4. I forget what number 5 was. And then, of course, Crystal Skull was pretty abominable. So both of them had terrible last movies. But Die Hard 1, 2, and 3 versus Indiana Jones 1, 2, and 3, that's an interesting struggle for me. As a geek. Okay, so wow, it's already 10:43. Somebody else asked me a question over on Facebook, but I think I'm going to save it for next week. Do you guys have any questions here in the comments? 34 people are watching. I got the 1 thumbs down. You're always going to get a thumbs down. You know, what are you going to do? Hiko always gets one. It's like Hiko's the nicest guy in the world. 5 thumbs up. Thank you for that. A good day to Die Hard. Yes. No. Is that what it was called? Okay. A Good Day to Die Hard. Ah, it was a bad movie. It was really bad. I wanted to show you here in the paper today, and I put this on my Facebook page too, and you're looking here at this massive line of people. So I used to live in Izumo, in Shimane-ken, when I was an ALT, and it's very close to a big shrine, and Shimane is often like voted like the 46th most rural prefecture in all of Japan, and the only one more rural than us is our neighbor, slightly north of us, called Totori-ken, Totori Prefecture, and we often go back and forth. And there's actually a whole like character out there that jokes about, "Hey, we're Shimane, not Totori, man." You know, like they make T-shirts up and stuff like. And we've got like a couple World Heritage sites in Shimane. I mean, we have a lot of, you know, things to see. We have a castle that's pretty cool in the capital of Matsue. And so we finally got our first Starbucks, I want to say last year, but it might have been late 2013, about a year ago though, in Izumo. And then I think we now have, there's one in Matsue too, the capital city. And those are both fairly big cities for rural Japan. Both of them. I think Izumo has maybe 800,000 people, just short of 1 million people, and Matsue maybe has right around 1 million. The whole prefecture only has, wait, is that even true? No, I'm sorry, I'm adding a 0. Matsue has about 100,000 people, and Izumo has about 80,000 people, and the whole prefecture has about 800,000 people. There's not even 1 million people in Shimane. Anyway, so we were happy to get Starbucks, and what they do is they they put out a cup where it's like a mug or a tumbler or something, and it's probably about this size. And this is my Tron one from Tron Legacy, although it's all been cleaned so many times. And it says something about where you bought it, like the prefecture, like here's your Hiroshima one, or here's your Yamaguchi or Fukuoka. So they have one that's like, probably Izumo Shimane or something. I don't know if it's that specific with the city, but probably at least the prefecture. So finally, Totoriken got their first Starbucks, and they were the last prefecture in Japan to get one. And it opened at 7 a.m. on Saturday, and people started lining up at noon on Friday to go in. And the picture is showing you that the line was like, it's near a station. And at one point they said the line got to be 1,000 people long. So I don't know, I don't know. Does that just mean they want to be like one of the first people? Were they handing out special commemorative things? Were they selling this Totori cup for only 1 or 2 days? Why would you stand in line just to get a coffee like that? I just don't get it. But that's my guess. Oh God, I held that up and you can't even see like the people. I'll try to hold that up again, higher here. Anyway, hold it back here a little bit. So congratulations to Torican, you now have a Starbucks. But yeah, I mean, for instance, in my town, which is where I live now in rural Japan, we have no Starbucks, we have no KFC, which is a huge thing here in Japan. The only thing we have really is a McDonald's. We have one McDonald's in the whole town. We have no drive-throughs. The McDonald's is in a mall. We have a Moss Burger, but it's part of like a shopping mall, not a rest stop, a drive-through, not drive-through. Where you're on the highway and you can go there, and it's like a food court. So there's no drive-through. There's like one delivery pizza place. There's like 2 karaoke places. It's really a scary, very small town that I live in. You guys would be shocked. They do have Dunkin' Donuts, but really they don't need to because there's a huge chain here called Mr. Donut, which is really the predominant chain. All right, let me just answer these last few questions, and I got to get out of the way. For Hiko, do they get Netflix in Japan? Not yet, but hopefully they're saying July or August this year they will start having Netflix. But it's coming soon. Yes, Kansai Jesse is correct. What's the best month to visit Japan? I think May is a great month to visit Japan. Some people say April for the sakura, the cherry blossoms, but I like May. I like the weather in May. There's sumo in May. It's weather-wise, it's a wonderful time to visit, as is probably like November, which also has sumo in Fukuoka. Inglanese. Okay, so maybe Inglanese is how you say your name. Okay, a good day to die hard. We talked about that. Can we ask Jet questions? Or are we in movie mode? No, Paul, ask a Jet question. I will answer it in my final 5 minutes. So I probably didn't hold up that paper very well. I'm apologizing. My name is Andrea. Oh, okay, couldn't see the ad. Sorry. Well, it wasn't an ad. It was actually a photo. It was a news story. What is the world coming to? I know. Well, sometimes on my sumo channel, it's funny. I get the occasional thumbs down, and as me, I'm always paranoid. Like, oh, did I say something offensive, or did they not like my comments, or was I being just too much or whatever? And I realize most of the people that probably give the sumo matches thumbs down is because their favorite wrestler lost. Like Terunofuji loses that day, and all of a sudden I've got 3 thumbs down on that video or something. So people are probably just like, oh, damn it, he lost, thumbs down. But they're not thumbing me down necessarily, but the outcome of their sumo. So yeah. But yeah, if you want to give thumbs up, that never hurts. Okay. I liked your story from one of your daily vlogs about the kids asking you how Christmas cake in KFC was. Yes. No, we don't have Christmas cake in America. Really, people pay people to stand in line to hype up the place. Well, I don't think they needed to hype up the first Starbucks opening in the last prefecture to have one in Japan. It was almost going to be a news story on its own. But 1,000 people, I mean, geez. They might have done that in Tokyo when Taco Bell opened, because I heard it was crazy there. Ben Duncan, I am so with you. I think donuts in Japan suck too. There is a Krispy Kreme here in Tokyo, but I've heard it's got outrageous lines daily. So yeah. Okay, I was just wondering, I was to preference Shimane-ken in my jet app, knowing what you know, where would you like to live? Oh, you mean, Paul, if you want to say that you want to go to Shimane-ken when you do your jet application? I would pick Izumo. Yeah, if you're going to be specific. I would pick Izumo. I think it's the best. Izumo or Matsue, although there's less people in Matsue now because Interac kind of took over. I wanted to talk a little bit about Interac because they just did something jerky with all their teachers' emails about privacy and stuff, but I'm not going to get time today to do it. I'll try to save it for next week. But yeah, I mean, yeah, anywhere in Shimane is kind of cool. Masuda's got its own thing going on. Swano's cool. Hamada, you know, Izumo, you know, I mean, yeah, I just, you know, I obviously got a soft spot for Shimane. But yeah, I think if you're going to be in a really rural place, it's not a bad place to be. So they might ask you, though, especially the Japanese person that interviews that's probably never been to Shimane, be like, why did you pick Idaho? Why do you want to go to, you know, Nebraska of Japan, you know? Why did you pick Shimane as the place? Please don't tell them it's because you saw this man on YouTube. They'll probably think you're crazy. Oh, Tokyo Krispy Kreme has no lines anymore. Okay, good to know. Yeah, don't pick the Oki Islands, dude. That's a trial by fire, in my opinion. Because man, that's some isolation. You know, if you don't like the one or two other jets that are on the island with you, that's going to be a lonely year. You know, you just have to hope that you get good other jets out there. I mean, not that you can't make friends with Japanese people and stuff, but it's so hard to come back and forth to the mainland from Oki on a regular basis. That yeah, I would. You gotta be hardy to go out there. I think right off the bat when you're just getting used to Japan too, because there's I mean, I'm talking about nothing where I am. At least I can get in my car and drive 2 hours, and then I've got movie theaters and shops, and I can go to Hiroshima for criminy sake. You know, if you're on Oki, man, there's just nothing. So I haven't visited Shizuoka yet, but I want to. I think Mully is out in Shizuoka, right? Warmoth Strat. I want to go out there, see him, see what's around. I need to do some more traveling. I'm literally, guys, I've been pretty poor, and I've been sending home money to my dad to help him, and I'm finally getting rid of some domestic debt that was hanging over me for a long time. And I opened the tip jar for donations for my Sumo channel, and people have been going by and leaving some donations, and that's really going to help me get out of my town for a little while in July. I'm going to go see Nagoya, the Basho in Nagoya, so I'm taking a vacation. I think it's the first time I will have left my hometown other than to go 2 hours away to a movie in a year. I mean, that's how little I travel recently. So yeah, I do want to go see other parts of Japan. I probably will try to go to Fukuoka again in the winter. I'd love to go for Sumo, but I also want to go in December to see my friend Brian, and we really want to go see the new Star Wars movie in IMAX. And they have an IMAX theater in Fukuoka. So I probably can't go twice, so I'll have to choose. Anyway, sometimes I have T-shirts that I sell, like this one, Zenzen Wakanai. So if you want a T-shirt, Victor's gonna hopefully hook me up with his store soon. But yeah, doing things like this, buying a T-shirt from me, giving me $5 in my tip jar. Those are all awesome things you can do if you enjoy the show, enjoy the coverage. I appreciate it, etc. Don't borrow from Yakuza. Yeah, I'll try not to. I want to keep the pinkies. Unfortunately, I borrowed from American Yakuza. Sometimes, get those things in the mail. Here, you're qualified for this loan, and then you're either so desperate or you don't read the fine print and realize how much interest they're charging you, and it's just taking me a while. but I'm finally getting out from some domestic debt in about 2 more payments. I'm very happy about that. Okay, thank you for joining in, everyone. My live chat is hopefully every Sunday. It's been 4 Sundays in a row. I haven't missed yet. So tune in again next Sunday. That'll be the 31st of May. And we'll talk about everything I forgot to talk about this week. And it starts at 10 p.m. Japan time, so figure out what time that is for you in the world. Now, in about 4 minutes, Hiko Simon is going to start, so please go over and watch him. He is my senpai and the grandfather of J Blockers. If Victor is the godfather, right? Yeah, try to catch the whole show. I had a bit of a problem with the comments at the beginning, so thank you for being patient and you know, sticking around while I blabbered on about sumo. Sumo was awesome. If you want to go over to my All Sumo channel and watch the Hakuho Haramafuji match, you know, just watch that one match. A fantastic ending to a great basho. Thank you all for coming to a cooking edition. Like, I take this and move it into the kitchen, and you don't want to see me cook. Tacos edition. Yeah, I can do a tacos edition. Although I couldn't get tortillas recently. It was so disappointing. I'm going to have to wait about another week before I can get more tortillas. All right. So, bye. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Have a good week. See you next time. Sayonara. Peace. Oh, I got to go. Where do I got to go? Oh, I got to go over here. Bye. See you.